Ann Arbor's Talk Station, 1290 WLBY. Our Damian on Design is a very special edition today. Before we even get to our guest, who is the head of the Ann Arbor Art Center, we have a congratulations, and we're just so very proud to tell you that Damian Farrell of Damian Farrell Design Group has been elevated to fellow. He got a fellowship through the American Institute of Architects, this national organization representing some 80,000 architects across the USA. And Damian, I understand that becoming a fellow, less than 4%, 3,200 out of that 80,000 actually become fellows.
I didn't know that statistic. I didn't. I did not know that statistic.
Congratulations.
Wow. No, thank you.
So well deserved.
Thank you.
How did this honor come about for you? Because I understand that you actually had to go back to your days in South Africa working as an architect, as a student,
right,
and be able to share with the judges your whole body of work throughout your lifetime.
Yeah, that's the essence of it. It started by being invited to a meeting with a few of my colleagues in Detroit, and I realized once I got there and they announced who they were that this is the kind of the Michigan group of fellows, and they suggested that they felt that I had done enough with my body of work and my service to the profession that I should consider, and asked if I would consider being nominated for my fellowship, which of course is a huge honor. So it's I jumped at that opportunity, and so they got together behind it, and one of them sponsored me. But then what after that, it was a matter of collecting your body of work, and it was a wonderful experience. You end up with a document that's somewhere around 40 to 50 pages, but you're right, it went back to my student days in South Africa. And I was very fortunate I was able to track down one of my favorite professors from architecture school, who'd actually also been very active in the South African Institute of Architects, or the Institute of South African Architects, I should say. Mm-hmm. And he got me very involved in the institute there, and so that's when I came here, it was very easy for me to transition to get involved in the American Institute of Architects. And so, our radio show that we do together, I have to say, was a large part of, because it set what I do as an architect apart a little bit, mm-hmm. and it added a dimension to my career that no one else has done. And so thanks to you and Dean for letting me do this show, because probably, without it, I don't know whether I would have got the fellowship. This was a very important part of the consideration by the jury.
I want to give a nod to Julianne Williams, your former studio manager,
yes.
Current one, Aaron McNear, who does a great job as well, and we've really enjoyed getting to know. But Julianne was the one who really came up with this idea.
It was her idea. So I do have all of you to thank, because I don't know that I would have got it without it.
Well,
so thank you.
Well, and when you think about it, an organization like the A.I.A., a huge component of that is education, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and outreach. And
mm-hmm.
that's what the jury is looking for, is what you've done as a service to the profession,
right.
As a whole.
Right.
So
you can work on the most beautiful projects, the most lauded projects, but if you're not sharing that knowledge and having an impact in other ways, that really adds a new dimension to it. You're right. Well, congratulations from all of us here at 1290 WLBY and the Lucy Ann Land Show. And on behalf of my business partner, Dean Erskine, and myself, we are just so pleased. And it couldn't go to a nicer guy, a greater guy. You've done a lot for our community locally. And you look outward as well, and what you brought to the show in terms of the guests we've had on here. I think you posted online, you said we've had Imagineers, we've had designers, we've had artists, we've had, you name it, it's been on the show.
Thinkers, painters, sculptors,
right.
fabricators. We've met so many cool people.
It really speaks to the impact of design in our community and how important it is. Earlier this week we had on the show the head of Michigan Future, Inc., Lou Glazer, and he talked about education and where we are going wrong, what we need to do in the future for the future jobs that are coming up and how we should be educating our kids. And he says the fact that we are cutting out arts programs is a travesty. That, and you may not become an artist, but the impact that that skill set has on someone and what you can do with it in whatever career you go into is so powerful. And I thought about you when he was talking about that and what we've done on the show with Damian on design.
Well, in the NEA, we're missing our topic a little bit, but the NEA, if you remember, we went through this a couple of years ago, has done putting together of actual financial data supporting that. So there literally are numbers. So someone who is not really that concerned about the arts, but wants to know how numbers and how those things impact, that information exists that shows literally how art and art education impacts economy.
Right.
There is a direct correlation.
Yeah, very interesting. Well, your investiture is coming up in May down in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
And this is quite a ceremony as they induct the new fellows into the A.I.A.
Yes. And there are 2 of us from Michigan this year.
Oh, there are?
Yes. So that'll be great. And a lot of our fellows will be there to support us. And
there's a sash, wearing of a sash.
With a very nice gold medallion.
I expect you to be wearing that on the show after you go down there, all right?
So I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Damian Farrell, who's now a fellow in the American Institute of Architects. Quite a great honor. And Damian on Design each week here on the Lucy Ann Land Show, Ann Arbor's talk station, 1290 WLBY. Our guest today can speak to what you were talking about arts education. She is Marie Klopf, and she is the head of the Ann Arbor Art Center as the president and CEO. You've been on board since March of last year, 2 years, 2013 is when you first came in?
Correct.
And welcome, nice to see you.
Thank you, nice to be here again.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
What is the role of the Art Center here, the Ann Arbor Art Center?
The role of the Art Center, we are a visual arts organization, and our job is to infuse arts in and around Ann Arbor and the community and get people inspired and excited about the things they can do, even related to design and what it can do for their careers for the youth.
And you're not an artist, which is interesting.
Right, I fall on the technical side. I have a background as in engineering, but I have to say I'm so delighted to be able to be in a position where we can start to bring forward art and technology together and show the value that it brings in the community.
How has the Art Center evolved since its early days? It's how old now?
It was 105 years old last
isn't that amazing?
October.
Gosh, congratulations.
One of the oldest arts organizations in the state of Michigan.
Is that right?
Mhm.
And located in the heart of downtown Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
So how has it evolved since those early days, would you say?
You know, I think that the Art Center started out being an exhibition space to celebrate local artists, and it's really gone full circle. I think the core of what we do now has a lot to do with education, and so that's why I'm excited to be here with Damian to talk about design, because the 2 signature initiatives this year, there's a design component to both of them
And
related to architecture.
What are those?
So probably they're 2 very different. One, which is my baby, is the combining art and technology. We have a new program called Art Lab, which is Art Reach Technology Lab, and that'll be an opportunity to combine fine arts with technology, because there are a lot of fields today that include those 2. We'll be launching here in the spring with an opportunity for graphic design to be combined with creating your own art in the form of storyboarding. I don't know if you've heard of storyboarding, but that's quite interesting. Children will be also, it's targeted for youth, and they'll also have an opportunity to do some stop motion animation through claymation. So every single program that we offer will have a hands-on art component, but it will combine technology on the back end. So it's very contemporary to what the kids are looking for today.
So your focus has really been bringing the technology, but the Art Center still does what it's always done, right? There's still
that's right.
jewelry
And we'll
making.
never lose that.
The exhibition part of it, pottery, right? Ceramics.
Absolutely.
Painting,
the little
drawing.
claymation animations.
Yeah.
People will take clay, the kids will take clay and create little animated videos by moving that clay around. So.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the fact that you partnered with Motawi Tileworks, which now has a storefront there?
Motawi Tilework is a featured artist in the Ann Arbor Art Center. They are a consignment artist. We've given them an expanded footprint because our job is to support artists. So it's really a unique opportunity because they are a local Michigan artist.
Right.
And by giving them they're ready to take that next step. By giving them an expanded footprint, they've learned a lot about production, inventory management, merchandising, some things, the business side of what an artist needs to know in order to take that next step and potentially be independent.
Yeah, we were just talking with folks from SCORE, who now have a seminar, a regular seminar they're doing on the business side of arts and how to take your artwork to that next level,
Right.
especially if you're going from maybe art show to art show, really increasing your visibility and doing things in a little different way and using technology to do that.
Yes.
So this really is the way of the future, isn't it, for artisans?
It is the way of the future, yes,
Yeah.
so we should just all embrace it.
That's right. So Art Lab is one of them. What's the second
The
thing?
second one that I'm pretty excited to talk about, and Damian and architecture play a role in this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very exciting new initiative that's designed specifically to infuse Ann Arbor and the surrounding community with visual art. And it was born out of 3 groups with 3 goals. The Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation, whose goal is to impact economic development through arts and culture. The second one is the Ann Arbor Art Center, who's looking to have a greater presence in the visual arts scene here in Ann Arbor. And the third group are a group of Larry and Lucy Nissan, who are local people who are investing in this, and they are just both artists and want to be inspired by art. So the goals of that are economic impact, visibility, and inspiring the community. And it will culminate into a 10-day festival in the fall, and it's called PopX. And the 10-day festival will feature 10 designed by a local architect structures that will, and it'll be centered in Liberty Plaza, and each structure will house and be curated by a local artist. And the curation of art inside is going to be designed to be interactive in most cases. So it's 2 pieces of design. One is the design of the structure, and the other is the art inside. So
Oh
it's
my
really
gosh.
it'll be a
Isn't that a
very
wonderful idea?
Yes, I
Yeah,
love
wonderful
this.
idea.
Wow. What can be done with something like this? What grows
Oh.
out of this?
You know what? It's a great opportunity for people of all ages to come in, experience downtown, understand the impact of visual art, both from an architecture standpoint and from a, making standpoint. All of the things that go on in there will be tied back to educational opportunities at the Art Center, lectures, exhibitions, and, opportunities to learn to make art as well.
One of the things I think is so cool, there's such a focus right now on tiny spaces, right? We see it on PBS, right? There's a whole channel, whole show about tiny spaces, living small. So we're going to get these very unique, very tight, compact, jewel-like art exhibitions in these very tight, compact, jewel-like spaces that have been designed by an architect. And it's an opportunity as well for the local Huron Valley chapter of the American Institute of Architects to partner, and we are actually looking to bring the Michigan Architectural Foundation, both of which we featured on the show. So this really, talk about a community art event, and something that hasn't been done much, but it's going to be so visual, and it's going to be so there in front of you.
Will these structures be up all at the same time or interchange?
No, there'll be a group, 7 to 10 of them will be located in the Liberty Plaza, so there'll be 10 of them. But the unique thing about it this year, because we have a 4-year plan for this of how this grows and expands. The goal is, in the out years, is that each structure is unique. So there will be a competition of architects that will submit to create these unique, 10 by or 100 square foot spaces. And so it's a great way to engage the architectural community in something fun and creative, and visually pleasing.
Do you plan on submitting an idea?
Yeah, I do. I do for next year, absolutely.
Looking forward to seeing this.
This year is a big year I'm running the local chapter this year, so I really got my hands full. But we will engage the chapter. In fact, we started discussions late last year with some of Marie's staff about this competition and how to make sure that it's sustainable.
Damian, what's the biggest structure you've ever worked on, square footage wise?
Oh my goodness.
I'm thinking of the one out in Colorado, but I don't know if that...
No, out in Idaho.
Oh, Idaho.
Are you talking about residentially or commercially?
It could be anything.
Oh.
Could be anything.
About 200,000 square feet.
And smallest?
Smallest, 100 square feet, about, give or take.
Is that right?
Yeah, a bathroom,
Oh, there you go. Well, and I was thinking, too, of the house on the west side that you took, and you really changed the way they lived in that house and gave them a little library up on a...
Yeah. I think there was 180 square feet
Wow.
of additional space. So it's really fun. I like the word jewel, and I do this with my fingers because it suggests this tight-knit focus on tiny little things
Yeah.
right in front of you. And so designing like that and curating this art exhibition like this is going to be like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a real challenge, I think.
Well, and it speaks to the fact that no matter what your space is, you can create whatever the mind can imagine, right?
And you can impact. It
Yeah,
doesn't
right.
take much to impact. So, I mean, I just think people are just going to be drawn into Liberty Plaza. And it's the one place in town that we've all struggled with. The city has
What are
struggled
we
with
going to
it.
do with it?
The public, the
Right.
community, what do we do with it?
Parks and Rec
So-
have been wonderful. They're very supportive and very excited about the initiative. And then also in the out years, we plan to always have a village of these,
Mhm.
but then in the out years, there'll be like an art walk. They'll be located all over the city in unique places, so you'll have to like drive all over Ann Arbor if
Oh,
you want
wow.
to see them. So it really has a very big vision, but we're going to start out pretty small and get it off the ground and make sure we do well with our lessons learned.
Marie Klopf with us. She is the head of the Ann Arbor Art Center. She's on Damian on Design with Damian Farrell from Damian Farrell Design Group, local architect, now a fellow in the A.I.A. On the Lucy Ann Land Show, 1290 WLBY. Marie, when do you envision this? Is it PopX? Is that what you're calling
That's
this?
the name of it, yeah.
When do you envision it ready to go?
Well, PopX, that's the supernova of the event, but
Uh-huh.
there's going to be a series of events that happen around town that are designed to be fun and engaging for the public.
To
get
lead up
involved
to
in,
this?
To lead up to
Okay.
it. We'll have, the big kickoff will be at our annual largest fundraiser, Vine and Dine this year, that happens on March 7th,
Mhm.
where we'll unveil the structure and we'll do a lot of really cool things to tell you about what's coming up.
Neat. You know, you mentioned that Liberty Plaza, we've struggled. It tends to be an enclave for homeless persons. The mayor tried to take it back years ago by our former mayor, John Heafja, by having lunch with the mayor in there every week. What happens to all those people? If you set up these structures,
Well, you know what, we're working closely with Parks and Recs on that to make sure that it's an inclusive process and not an exclusive process, and trying to envision ways where we can partner and it's not a displaced, it's more just inviting for everyone.
how interesting. What happens to these structures afterwards? Or do
Well,
they stay?
No, interestingly, no, some of them maybe in the late years may be permanent, but we're going to auction them off, so if people want a playhouse in their backyard or they want a reading place at their cabin up north, they're designed modularly so they can be taken down and you can take it right with you.
Wow.
You know, with our pathway system around the city, what a wonderful place to have little rest spots. You know, if some of these could
Oh,
end
that's a
up
great
on
idea.
pathways along
Yeah.
the Huron River.
It's such a fun project because whoever you talk to, they have so many fabulous ideas. Like there's more ideas than you can imagine that are all pretty exciting. And so I'll be excited to see how it grows over the next few years as well.
On your website, AnnArborArtCenter.org, and I haven't had a chance to look at this yet, but it says allegorical space. This is one of the things that you have going on here, and it runs through February 22nd. And it says an exhibition that features the landscape as a metaphor.
Yes, it's very interesting. It's curated by Brian Spollins out at Eastern Michigan University. And have you seen that, Dan?
I haven't seen it.
So it's,
No,
just,
I've got to
it's
stop
very
and see.
interesting landscapes with strange things inside of it. And I guess it's up for you to imagine how those things go together.
And create environments that act as allegories for our own environment. Again, that's the whole idea of design and what it means to each of us and how it impacts our lives. So, kind of interesting. Looking forward to seeing that.
And a big shout out to Damian also because he's so helpful he has been so helpful and so supportive of the Art Center for so many years. We're just delighted he's working with us on a project so that the art lab that we're talking about can be imagined upstairs. We've got some work to do and he's been kind and gracious enough to be helping us with that.
What is your role in all of that, Damian?
Just literally providing design ideas for how to reorganize the space and drawings
Excellent.
so that we can pull the necessary permits, the builders can do their stuff.
The Ann Arbor Art Center is located at 117 West Liberty in downtown Ann Arbor, the historic Walker Building, right?
Yes.
A former carriage factory, and you've really done a nice job with that space, too.
Thank you. And I don't know if you've driven by lately, but we do have flags up on the building now.
Yes.
So you can see us from Main Street.
Yes,
So
that's nice.
there's so much great press about the flags.
Yeah.
And they were very generously donated by Howard and Ann Cooper.
Oh, really? How
Yes,
wonderful.
So it's just an amazing transformation to the front of the
Well,
building.
and it was needed because you're just off a little bit the beaten path of Main Street itself there on Liberty.
Yes.
But, you know.
And now you can see
now
it.
you can
You're
see it.
Like, what's that?
Yeah.
It's a flag.
I want to go there.
And I love these cabin fever workshops. Isn't that perfect for this time of year? Intuitive drawing, ugly monsters.
Yeah.
That sounds like so much fun. Ages 7 to 12. exploring the
We've
language.
done a lot with the. I have to tell you, we have very limited space left. All of our
Oh.
camps have filled up for this cabin fever workshops. They're full.
Oh.
Our winter creativity camp is almost full. So
Hmm.
if anybody has any kids they want to enroll, hurry.
All right.
Fantastic.
Go online to
Fantastic.
AnnArborArtCenter.org. Great things coming. Looking forward to hearing more about Art Lab and then PopX and everything revolving around that.
Yeah.
This is the first I've heard about it.
Yes,
So, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
We're supposed to be keeping it under wraps, but Damian has
Too late.
it on the show. Now it's too late.
And you're always welcome back. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
Marie.
very
Thank
Marie
you, Marie,
Klopf,
so much.
again from the Ann Arbor Art Center, where she is president and CEO, and Damian Farrell from Damian Farrell Design Group. For more information about Damian and his work, go to dfdgonline.com and the Ann Arbor Art Center, AnnArborArtCenter.org. Thank you very much to you both.
Thank you.
And Damian, congratulations again
Thank you,
on
Miss Yeh.
being elevated to fellow of the Ann Arbor, more illustrious than that, the American Institute of Architects.
Thank you.
More coming up on the Lucy Ann Lance Show, Ann Arbor's Talk Station, 1290 WLBY. Thank you so much. Marie, that was really
Doing all right?
interesting.
I'm
Did a
Not
great
feeling
job.
very well.
Oh, you're
Oh,
kidding.
you doing all right?
I'm doing all right.
Oh, you look
Okay.
fine.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you look great. I never would have guessed that. Let me get a quick photo of both of you.